Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to Leading Our Own Way. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about grief. You know, it's interesting. Grief is a journey none of us expect to take. Yet it has the power to transform how we see ourselves and our relationships and the world around us. In today's episode, we dive into an extraordinary story of resilience, love, and healing. Linda Henderson. She's a mother, she was a nurse and a beacon of hope, opens her heart to share the profound loss of her daughter, Andrea, and how it forever changed her life. Through her experiences, Linda reveals the raw reality of navigating grief, finding strength in vulnerability, and building a legacy of love and awareness in Andrea's memory. We're going to explore the lessons she learned from the power of connection with others who understand loss, to the importance of living fulfillment, I guess, and living fully in honor of those that we've lost. In Linda's case, Andrea, this is definitely a story of pain. Like all the other guests, is about purpose and ultimately the profound healing. I want you to get ready because you're going to be inspired and moved as Linda shows us how even in the darkest moments we can find light, connection, and a renewed sense of meaning. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back after the short intro. Trailer, that is. We'll be right with Linda. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way. I'm your host, Andrew White, and this is the podcast that unveils captivating narratives of resilience and personal triumph. This podcast is for anyone seeking inspiration and insights on overcoming life's challenges. Follow and subscribe, and then we can lead together forever. Good evening, Linda Henderson. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way podcast. How are you today?
I'm pretty good, Andrew. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely pleasure. It's wonderful to have you here. We've been chatting for a little while now, and I have to thank you for making contact and wanting to share your journey on my journey on the Leading Our Own Way podcast. Such a pleasure to have you here. And tell us a little bit where are you in the world right now?
Well, I live in Ontario, Canada. I live in a little town, well, not a little town, about 60,000 people, but compared to the city of Toronto, we're outside, about an hour and a half outside of Toronto, which is like the big center in Ontario. And it's the biggest air base in Canada, and we're located here because my husband is military, and he's been in the military for, I don't even can't say how many years, probably 40 some odd. He's contract now, but Trenton is the town that's kind of, grown up around that air base, and that's where I live.
Wow, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will dive into that a little bit later on. You're on a bit of a mission though, aren't you, at the moment? A big mission. Tell us a little bit about your mission.
My mission is to talk about my story of loss with my daughter. I'm passionate about reaching people who are suffering from grief, trauma, and even other mental health issues, because grief is an umbrella that takes in depression, anxiety, PTSD, all of those things. And I wrote my book and had it published a year ago. And since then, I have been doing my best to get out there in the world and give the message of hope and inspiration and empowerment to people.
Love it. Whilst you brought the topic of your book up, I'm going to show a picture to the guests, and it'll pop up on the screen for those who are watching on Spotify and YouTube. But here is your book. Can you tell us a little bit more about your book
Yes,
and your
that's my
mission with it?
book, The Road of Love and Hope. That's me walking on a road that is unknown. It's not paved. It has no destination. There are clouds, but the sun is breaking through the clouds. It's rocky. It's not a nice road. It's not pretty. And that's my road of that I'm walking my road of grief with the loss of my daughter. I started writing that book about 9 years into my journey. One of the main therapeutic things for me that came about with uh, my healing was walking. And so I still walk 45, 50 minutes a day. Not that it's always easy to get out and do that, but
Mm.
I go and walk, and that's my time to cry, release all of my emotions, argue with God, talk to Andrea, my daughter. And I came home one day after 9 years into my grief and said to my husband, "That's it, I'm going to write a book." So I sat down, and I wasn't sure how it was going to all come about, because I don't, I was a retired nurse for 37 years, and we didn't use computers, so I didn't know much about computers. So my husband guided me and helped me through that. And my goal at the time was, if I can reach one person or one family, then I will have it will be worth it, because I had so much experience inside of me, so many stories of grief, so much to tell, to help people. And that's how I came about writing my book.
Yeah, beautiful. There's a lot of symbolism in the image that you've used. I'm just looking at it now. At the rocky road is obviously there every day. Did you see that? Do you see the light at the end of every walk every day? Yeah, because I'm going off the symbolism of your book. With the
Yeah.
light, the sun coming through the clouds.
It's to symbolize that, yeah, grief is a very treacherous, um, treacherous road. It's unwanted. You have no idea where you're going, what you're doing. You
Mm.
don't know what your destination is. You don't know if you're going to make it towards that glimmer of hope. And so that's what I thought of when, I used that. As for every day is different, because grief is unpredictable. And you know, I don't do well this time of year. December 20th was the accident, and so here in Canada, our weather's not very nice. It's cold, it's miserable, and it gets dark early, around between 5 and 6. It's dark, so there's not much sunlight. And I just have to remind myself that on those dark, dreary days, that behind those clouds, the sun will shine. And I live by that.
Yeah, yeah. The book. What has it? Have you had anyone ever reach out to you and talk to you and say how the book's benefited them?
Oh, the feedback that I've gotten is just, it just warms my heart. It's more than I ever expected. And when
Oh,
I talk to people, and they tell me, you know, how they reacted when they read it. I have a woman in Newfoundland in Canada, and she said, she highlights certain areas, and it's a real guide for her. And I, I just, I'm overwhelmed to think that through my story, I can reach out and help someone else. There's a local friend here. She hasn't lost a child, but she said to me, "I'm currently getting my website revamped um, to a newer one." And she said, "Linda, you have to make sure you have the word healing in there on that website, because your book is very healing." And, just different people telling me things like that. And I'm just like, the emotions, I'm so overwhelmed that little old me can sit down and write this book, and that I can achieve my goal, and I can reach out and help other people, because I know the devastation, and I know what it's like to build your life from ground zero and not want to be here. So to be able to help other people just really warms my heart.
absolutely. And we're going to dive deep, obviously, into your journey, your personal journey of healing and the grief that you've been through, and dig deep into that. I don't know why. I would normally probably do this later, and we'll talk about what happened later. But I feel like this is the perfect time just to paint Andrea's character. She passed away on December 20th, 2011. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it was nearly 13 years ago.
Yeah,
Let's
coming up on 13 years.
Yeah, coming up on 13 years. Let's talk about Andrea for a little bit. Paint a picture for us, her character, her personality, and what she had going on in her life.
I would love to talk about my baby girl. She was 27 years old. Andrea was a delightful child to raise. Um, we have a blended family, but she's my youngest biological daughter, and she has a sister who's 6 years older. And growing up, Andrea was very quiet and shy. And I remember one time my brother, who was a lot younger than me, had some friends over and they were talking to her, and she went and hid under the kitchen table because she couldn't face these people. So extremely shy. But, just one of these kids that didn't provide any stress. She was not challenging in any way growing up for discipline or anything like that. She loved horseback riding. She did baton. We traveled across Canada and she did competitions with baton, and then she decided, no, I don't really like that. So she found her passion in horses, and there wasn't anything that you could ask her about horses that she didn't know. She read constantly. She was a very avid reader, and she was actually at 12 years old writing a book. Interestingly, writing a book, and I remember reading it, and it was like reading a novel. She just read so much, I think it just regurgitated into the pages that she could just create her own novel. And I'm not sure really what happened to that, but
Can you remember what
she
it was
was
about?
just a studious child in school, good marks. Um, so she grew up to, when she got to be in high school, she decided she wanted to go into journalism. She wanted to be, a reporter, writer. And as most kids, she did a couple of months and then she decided, no, it's not really what I want. And then she went into social work. And at the time of the accident, she was a social worker working with the youth of our community, and girls between the ages of 12 and 17. And, they'd been through the foster care, and this was like the end of the road for them. And she was a teacher teaching their literacy program. And she was happily married. She had a 2-year-old little boy at home. They had built their house in August of 2011, and she was looking forward to the next summer of having a rock garden. And she loved rocks growing up. So when the builders were building, can I keep that rock? Can I keep this one? And she kept them all. And then later, I can tell you that later on, we made her rock garden for her. But she was working that day of the accident. Her and her co-worker, they had a couple of girls out and they had raised money, and they were going to adopt a child for Christmas, and they were pretty excited because part of it was teaching these girls to be good citizens in society. And so they were on their way back home from work when the accident happened, her and her co-worker.
Yeah. She sounds like doesn't sound like, she was a very, very caring person.
Very, very patient, kind, very, very kind, quiet demeanor. Didn't get stressed very much. Like, I never saw her stressed. She had a 2-year-old little boy, and lots of times as parents we roll our eyes and get frustrated with them. But I never saw her get frustrated once with her little boy. She was just a very compassionate, beautiful, beautiful person.
Yeah. So that little boy will be around, let me work it out, to about 15, 16 now?
Yeah, he's 15,
Yep.
and he's my little heartstring. We've built quite a relationship with him. Um, and we're enjoying him. He looks very much like his mom, and he has a personality. He's quiet like her, very logical, clever, just like his mom.
Amazing. Does he look at pictures of his mum and
Oh, he
because he
knows
probably
all
doesn't
about.
remember her, does he?
I don't think he has actual memories of her,
Mm.
but I can show him. We actually had to take his father to court after the accident. It took for the first 3 years, I had two court hearings, one for the trucker that caused the accident, and the other one, we had to take his father to court because during that first year, we had to, it was very limited. He felt that we didn't need to see him. Meanwhile, I babysat Tristan when I was working, and the two grandmothers babysat, and the father decided that we didn't need to see him. So we don't have grandparent laws in Ontario. And we were told by his lawyer and our lawyer, like, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you're not going to win. And at that point, I said, if I don't see Tristan, I might as well die. I will die. He was all I had left of her. So we won. And today, now we have a fantastic relationship with him because of our determination as a grandparent to
He
fight for
must
him.
see the power in what you're doing. Does he see your journey and how powerful it is? Is he a part of your journey in terms of, does he
Um,
acknowledge the book? Does
he,
he,
I have slowly, because his father moved on so quickly. Andrea wasn't discussed, but because thankfully we had visitations with him, he knows everything about his mom. He knows her favorite color. He knows all about what kind of person she was. And I tell him all the time, "You look like your mommy," and I show him pictures, and he knows pictures of her, even if it's a childhood picture. He knows that's her. I have instilled memories and instilled the love for his mom. I hug him, and he's so used to it. I hug him, and then I hug him again and say, "That's for mommy in heaven." And then I kiss him, and I'll say, "That's another kiss from mommy in heaven." And he just smiles. He knows. Um, he he knows that I've written a book, and he knows that I'm spending time promoting that book. So actually, it was just a couple of weeks ago that I asked him. He's just started to talk a little more about his family life, and um, he knows that the woman that he lives with, his stepmom, is not his mom, and he's starting to talk about that. So I asked him the other day if he would like to have a picture of mommy, and he said yes. So in a couple of weeks, when I see him, I'm going to give him his picture. And we discussed it. Do you want one this size, like an 8 by 10, or do you want this size? And he said, no, I want that one. I said, do you want it to go on your wall? You just have to be so cautious, right? And
yeah,
he said he wanted to have it just sitting, I guess, on his computer table or his dresser.
yeah.
So he's slowly learning. uh he knows what I'm doing, but he's a teenager. How much does he really need to know, right?
Yeah, I suppose he's coming on to different sections of his age, isn't he? He's coming to the point where he's probably more aware now. But then when he gets into his early 20s, he'll probably want to dive a little bit deeper and maybe turn some of this into his own individual purpose a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yes,
There's a few
absolutely.
things there that we will talk about as we go into the episode. So, Linda, is there a way that you honor Andrea's memory?
I honor her every day. One of the biggest things that I've done is, she had a high school project, and it was to write a children's book. And I had that published. So it's available on Amazon, and it's called Spooky Meets a Friend. It's about a little black cat that learns how to share. And the interesting part of it is, when my husband and I got together, she had her little black cat, Spooky, and my husband had a dog, a little beagle. So the story is about Spooky learning how to share with this little dog, but in reality, in actuality, it was a real story.
Yeah.
So I had that published, and this is the book, Spooky Meets a Friend.
Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. So how old was she when she wrote that? 12, did you say?
No, she was in grade 11.
How
So
old's
she did
that for everybody that
all
doesn't
of
know?
she must have been about 17,
Huh?
16. She did all of the illustrations and the story. And I have been donating them to many daycares in our area.
Oh, nice.
And I just today donated one, the Pregnancy Crisis Center. It's a center for, you know, teen mothers, helping single moms, and they supply clothes and different groups they have for helping them out raising their children. And there's a little children's area there, and I donated her book there today. And I also donated my book, The Road of Love and Hope, because there are moms that come in there who have suffered miscarriages and child loss. So that's one way that I honor her. I think it just it helps with my new purpose in life, to keep her legacy.
Yeah.
And she's going to be everywhere with Spooky.
She certainly is.
Yes.
Actually, I would love to get both of those books. I will do at some point, get them up, because I have a few of my guest books on my, and I mean, that one's mine there, but the others around are actually my guests. So I would love to get yours over here as well at some point, and yeah, and then we can help promote it. So any links, please send to me, and I'll put them in the show notes. So anyone who's interested in the books, they can click on it and they can go and purchase it as well.
Well, they're available on Amazon. Mine is under the title or my name, and then Andrea's book is Spooky Meets a Friend, but it's under her name, Andrea Watkins.
Beautiful. Well, people can search for it, but I'll still put it in the show notes as well, so it might be just a simple click. And if you could send me that image of her front cover, because I'll put it up onto the screen like I've done with yours.
I thought I had done that. I guess I didn't.
No, I don't have that one. I don't believe. I will double check afterwards, but I'll do it when you're still on the phone.
Yeah, sure do. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's bring it back to you. Let's bring it back to what we've mentioned the book, but it's crystal clear why Andrea is so caring. But we'll connect the dots now. Let's talk about you and what are you doing before we dive into your past. Other than the book, how would you say you're leading your own way? Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.